Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable, After Dark, everyone. And oh my gosh, Ted, we have a celebrity in our midst tonight. Is that the guy that's on the cover of the Fixed Ops magazine? Right there, Sir Tully Williams.
I believe it is Cara Delane, and we want to congratulate our great friend, Sir Tully Williams now. Today it's official. He is on the cover of the September and October issue of Fixed Ops magazine with his great quote, Cara, "It is all about the hours." Tully, tonight it is all about you. You got a lot of friends here tonight, and appreciate all you have brought and continue to the business. And again, congratulations to you, our friend.
Wow, thank you so much, and all of you. I tell you, Ted, I can't thank you enough what you bring to the Fixed Ops table. And now I get to cover the magazine with my good friend Ed Roberts. I'm telling you, life can't get any better than this.
Tully, I think it could just a tiny bit better because I believe Ed has graced the cover of that magazine more than once. And Ed, correct. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. Well, Tully preaches all the time that it's all about the hours. Tonight's hour is all about Mr. Tully. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate all of you and all that you do. And tonight's show, Cara, is live, correct?
It is. It's live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and we're even on YouTube now.
Great. And I want to go ahead and I want to call out and thank our exclusive sponsor for tonight's show. It is BG Products, partners beyond products. Bob Tasca from the Tasca Automotive Group. There you see Bob with his Cara, that's his BG Mustang. Is that right?
Yeah, he's all BG'd out, Ted, like I like to say.
And I think you are all BG'd out there as well in the picture. Bob won the 2022 Topeka Heartland National Champions, and Bob will be back with us at the next Fixed Ops Roundtable. And Cara, I understand that you and he have been working on something special to auction off for our charity event.
Yes, Ted, you're right. He is putting together a little surprise auction item, maybe a few items that's all going to be auctioned off for charity for the next event. I could not convince him to give me the race car, but I'm sure it'll be something very good.
Well, maybe the race car is next. And I see a lot of folks here with us tonight. We're going to introduce everybody, and we're wearing masks. Cara, what's the deal with the mask? What's going on with that?
Yes, so we are obviously all dressed up, except for you, Ted. What happened?
I didn't get the memo, Cara.
Okay. Well, everybody on here is wearing a mask. Thank you, guys. And I saw, Sean, you were wearing one earlier, but you don't have it on right now. And for our next event, Dare to Dream, we are asking everyone, and I've seen a few people on this panel tonight, Ted, actually already do a video like this, but we're asking everyone that is in support of this to do a video that says, "I dare you to unmask childhood blood cancers at the Fixed Ops Roundtable this November," because we are raising money for the Dare to Dream Project and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So hopefully everybody will take part in our little unmasking for this next event.
So, Cara, that's how it goes. They're going to dare the audience to?
Yes. I dare you to unmask childhood blood cancers at the Fixed Ops Roundtable this November.
So it would go something like this.
Hi, this is Steve Apicella, and I dare you to unmask cancer at the Fixed Ops Roundtable this November.
That is absolutely awesome. So, Steve, great job. And Steve, welcome tonight. You might be on mute.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Thank you. No, you know what? I don't wear a mask for just anyone or anything, but for this cause and for Ted, the Fixed Ops Roundtable, count me like everybody else in.
Great. I want to introduce our esteemed panel tonight. You've all met Tully, Steve Apicella, Ed Roberts is here tonight, Tony Owens, good evening to you, Roger Conan as well. Sean Kingery is with us this evening. Sean, thank you so much. Brooke Furness is with us also. Sarah Van Tyne, hello, everyone. Hello to you as well. Sean Butler is here today. And Sean, thank you so much. And Kara, first time on After Dark tonight is Rebecca Chernick, the queen of F&I herself. Becky, welcome.
Thank you. I had to unmute myself. Thank you, Ted. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, guys.
And also, return command performance. Russ Mann is back with us again tonight. Russ, this is getting to be a habit. This is great.
Dude, I love this habit. I absolutely love it. So I have to tell, so I'll take a minute to tell my Tully story. The gentleman is absolutely inspiring to me. He doesn't know it. He never knows it because he leads with his own passion, his own story every day. But in 2020 at the Fixed Ops Roundtable in Las Vegas, he was one of the speakers, and I could not believe I had never seen a fixed ops director with so much energy, so much fire, and so much passion for what he did every day and does every day. It's absolutely amazing. It's an honor to know him and be associated with him on this panel, and I'm absolutely grateful.
Russ, thank you so much for that. It's awful nice of you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And
the
Tully,
truth.
let's talk about that a little bit, because you were on stage there at that last Fixed Ops Roundtable when the whole world changed just after that. You were also out at the one in Beverly Hills. And when you came to speak, you told me you had this thing about the hours. So let's talk about that a little bit. And what brought you to that? Because I see a lot of folks now starting to maybe, copy that phrase.
Well, I think that it started where Randy Brinkman a long time ago convinced me that hours was what I need to chase. And I think that, I was hard-headed, hours per hour, gross, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that that's actually what we sell. And then you have to make it easy. And the nice thing about the hours is the parts department, the technicians, the service advisors, the parts and service managers all can chase one number. Service writers and parts people don't affect gross very much. And we can argue that all night, but it really is very minimal. But we all can help chase the hour. And that's where I went, oh my God, this is it. It was almost a micro moment, Steve. It was a micro moment for me to say, holy mackerel, let's all believe. So I don't talk about gross. I don't talk about hours. I don't talk about ROs. I don't talk about parts and labor sales. I focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's hours. And everybody, if you look behind the screens, it's all about a green day. Do we sell our capacity today? It makes it more fun.
Everything else falls in line with that.
Exactly. I think, Ed, that he was, Steve has been bringing with Tully and with you as well, and with everybody on this panel, F&I and service together. But Ed, I think that Tully has been instrumental first in bringing parts and service together.
Absolutely. Tully is a coach, and you can look at it, fixed ops director, whatever else. But when I met Tully, I met Tully and Sarah Vantine at the same time down in Orlando, that it was either 18 or 19, right, Tully? His message then was, it's all about the hours. His message today is it's all about the hours, because that is our inventory. That's what we sell in service. And in the sales department, it's what you have. Well, that is what we have to sell. And he wants to maximize what he can do with his inventory. And when you do that, the rest of it just falls in line.
Great things happen.
God bless you, Ed.
Hey, Tully, give us some perspective, because, you've spoken at a number of big high-profile conferences. You and Ed have been keynote speakers here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable many times. What advice do you have for our audience? Because here we are, middle of October now, going into the fall, looking ahead to this year and into 2023.
Plan for the future. When I mean plan, is your store set up to be successful? Have processes in place. Yes, we are selling our inventory. So do you know your inventory on a daily basis? Not a yearly, not a monthly, not a weekly, a daily basis. Remember, technicians do not work for 8 hours a day. Technicians want to work for 10 hours per day. Count the number of techs in the shop, times it by 10. That is your capacity for the day. Now, when we maximize those hours, here we go. Talk about the processes that you want to do in the driveway to make it fun. Are we checking them in? Are we making those inspections? Are we taking those videos? And oh my God, do we send it to the customer? And guess what happens? We have same day selling. Keep it in the green every day.
Sean, he has inspired a lot of people all over the country, all over the world. And Sean, I know that you and Tully have become friends as well. And Sean Kingery, I think that he's done a whole lot for you in your career as well.
He has. Tully and I and Ed, we talk a lot. And when I say a lot, people don't want to know, and Ted as well. We talk a whole lot, and we bounce stuff off each other's. And I got to tell you, as I'm heading up to Atlanta tomorrow to spend some time with John Fairchild, but Tully's got it dead right. It goes down to the basics. It's daily. It's by noon during the middle of the day, you need to know how many hours an advisor's sold. An advisor needs to know how many hours they need to sell. A tech needs to know where their hours are. You got to go every morning and remind the tech and the advisors where they're at, who's short, who's strong, who's good, who needs help, who needs pushing, who needs a kick in the rear, trying to keep it nice and trying to keep it clean. But, it is all about the hours, because if you do the hours, everything else just falls into place.
And Sean Butler, you're leading an organization there, and I know we've watched you, and I know you've been watching what Tully's been doing on here as well. So talk to us about some of the things that you're doing and maybe how some of these resonates.
Well, so I'm out in front of, I believe in stocking up on my inventory, right? Which is time, which is technicians. I'm hiring right now. A lot of people are worried about how's it going to be. I don't care. I'm going to find a way to fill the time. I'm going to find a way to fill my bays and keep my techs busy. So it's all about the hours, and it's all about the people. We have to take care of the people. We have to, today with the technicians, not one pay plan fits everybody. You have to customize and tailor to individual needs. Find their why, meet the why, and then you will be successful, because everybody will be bought into the process. Share the vision and let everybody know what their part is, what their role is in achieving that goal. If we do that successfully and we help them succeed and find their why, some people want more time off. Some people want more family time. Some people want recognition. Some people want more money. Help them achieve their goals and you will be successful.
I love it. That speaks volumes. Steve, we just did a panel with you and with Strategic DX, your dealer experience on modern retailing. And before you tell us about that, I got to tell you that on Saturday morning this past week, Tully filmed, Ed, I don't even think you know this, Tully filmed a panel for the Fixed Ops Roundtable coming up in November. Sean Kingery, you were there as well. And Sean, what time did Tully, now, by the way, he didn't do it from his home. Sean, he went into the office.
He did.
Sean, what time did Tully have to get to the office Saturday morning for this panel?
Well, I'm in the central time zone in Florida. If it was 8 o'clock here, it must have been about 6 a.m. over there in old California. And by the way, Tully was at 190 miles an hour like always. Never fails.
Of course.
Tully, 6 in the morning on Saturday, we're doing a panel with John Fairchild, Sean Kingery, and Tully Williams on effective training strategies. Tully, that blew me away because the energy you had at 6 in the morning was amazing.
I believe that positive works. If you're a boo-hooer, get out of the way. I don't look in the rearview mirror. I'm looking in the windshield, right? And the whole point of it is that if you drive that excitement, if you drive that positivity, people around you build on it, right? I am never a negative. If there's a negative conversation, I'm locked in a vault with the person and we come out happy, right? That's the object. We have to be happy. So why not make it fun at work? Are your contests for fun? Driving behaviors, right? Are we having fun at what we do every day? That's what it's all about. That's why I chase the hour, because the whole store can be on the same thing. You ask the F&I people, what do we sell in service? They sell hours. Tell you what we're in business for. Repeat referral business. We have the store believing on what we want to do positively. You can't ask for anything better than that.
So, Steve, Tully stays on message, and I know you do as well. And, Steve, I got to tell you, I talk to Tully and Sean Kingery and Ed Roberts. How often, guys? Every day. I talk to these guys every single day. Sunday, absolutely. I'm talking to them on Sundays, right? Ed Roberts knows that. Probably too many times on Sunday. But, Steve, you stay on message as well. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening with modern retail and how you've brought F&I and service together.
Well, you know what? I can bring this together with honoring Tully. If Tully's camera could swing around, right across from him is Dennis Gingrich, which is the F&I director. And what makes the Nilo Corporation so great is its people and processes. that they figured out that this is one continuous journey, both for the internal team and by extension, their customers. That's what makes them so great. And, our mantra is connect the disconnected as a company, because there's a lot of disconnected stuff out there. And we have a great industry, and there's representations of that on this entire panel. And there's representations of that of everybody that's in the comments here. But what we have to do is find ways to work together. And again, another reason why Tully should be honored is that's part of his mantra. He lives in the same office as Dennis, the fixed ops director, along with the F&I director, to be able to make it a seamless, continuous process between the two. And that's what our industry has to embrace and use as an example for sure.
Yeah, I love it.
So
Rebecca-
speaking of energy drinks, do you guys think what do you guys think Tully would be if he had a Red Bull first thing in the morning?
Dead.
Heart attack.
I bet his office would empty out real quick.
This, and I have to say this because it's something that really, really resonates with me, is if you wake up in the morning and feel like you're going to have a bad day, you probably will. And just the opposite. We're in control of not a lot of things in our lives, but our attitude is something we are in control of. We choose that. And Tully's is infectious. And I don't feel, anybody who knows this man knows that he's not one character on the screen and then somebody else in person. He operates in one gear, and that's always forward at a high level. And it's something we teach our kids. It's something we have to teach ourselves, that, if you want great, you got to be great. If you want to have a great day, then find it in yourself first before you expect it anywhere else.
Yeah, I love it. Steve, I was talking to you a couple days ago, and I said, Rebecca Chernick is going to be on the panel. Becky, you actually not only helped put this thing together with Steve and Tully, but Rebecca, you put this whole Fixed Ops Roundtable thing together early on and twisted my arm and pushed me and called me on Sundays and said, no, you got to do it. Rebecca, a couple times I was going to back out, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. You said, you got to go for it and give it a shot.
Well, I just knew that you had every you had every ability to be very successful, and so you are. Like Ted, you have got to get out there. You have got to make this deal happen. It's got to come together. And you had your office in New York, Manhattan, New York, and I'm like, I want to go there anyway. What the heck? Let's do this. So I'm like, yeah, all day long, let's do it, Ted. And you do. And that first meeting was fantastic. It really was. And so much so that, we had hearts pouring out about what it took to be successful. And just taking the chance and the risk of it all. And wouldn't you know it, it just turns out, and look at you now, Ted Hings. I'll tell you right now, it just turned out fantastic for you. And I'm so happy for you. How
much value do we get as an industry from moments like this? The Fixed Ops Roundtable. The fun part about this is I've engaged with all of you guys at some level, is we don't have to agree on everything. That's not the point. The point is that we elevate topics and we learn from one another to navigate our industry to its greatest health and prosperity. And forums like this and other engagements where we get to interact together, there's so much value. And, it's a lot of us too. We each take our turn, but, for me, it's not when I'm talking, it's when I'm listening and what I'm hearing from everybody else that I really, really love and embrace, and come away from this every week, or come away from your event, Ted, inspired about what's next and how we can engage. And I think it's an interesting thing too. One more quick topic is, when I hear this strain between dealers and the support community, vendors, I scratch my head at it. I don't get it. We both play an essential role, right? I don't think I know a dealership's role better than they do, but I don't know that means that I can't contribute something to help make a dealer better. And we do that by engaging our partners and by working with them. I love it. I'm going to be on the road tomorrow morning through the rest of the week, and in part launching dealers, but in part being immersed in it and learning. And it's the greatest thing because it fuels what's next for us. And that's what we have to do. We got to work together on this stuff.
You know, Steve, going back to that community you just mentioned, Kara, can you put up that last comment? I think it was Ray Hernandez. So, Steve, Ray Hernandez, whom I do not know, but I know is a fixed ops director in the Southeast Sean Kingery, contacts me on Saturday. I think it was Saturday, right, Ray? And he says to me, you know, I want to get more involved, you know, in fixed ops in the community and so on. So, Ed, I mentioned to him because I saw his location. I said, you know, you're not all that far from Ed Roberts at Bozard. And we started talking about that. And he said, no, I want to get more involved. I said, Ray, I have not seen you on the After Dark show ever. Okay. It's on Mondays and on Wednesday nights. He goes, you're right. I have to get on and get involved. So, Ray, congratulations. Thank you for being here. And Steve, that's how I'm spending my Saturday, right? Is talking to Ray and making sure that, you know, we can uplift him as well and, you know, get him on board. So everybody, if you're not connected with Ray Hernandez, he's on LinkedIn. Please do that.
He's made more than one intelligent comment here. His first one was about Ed's bar behind him, I think. You know, I'm going to say this rhetorically so it doesn't sound like propaganda, but, you know, it's something that I live and I immerse myself in. If F&I is so critically valuable to a dealer's financial success, and it's valuable to the customer's ownership experience, and it's valuable to their loyalty back to the dealership, back into fixed ops, why the hell do we leave that to just the micro moment of the F&I menu presentation? And that's process that solves that. That's what we do. But some of these things like these comments where, you know, Tully and Dennis are in the same room, you can't help but hear Tully during the day if you're sitting across from him. And you know, you can't help but be connected, right? And vice versa. So, you know, just that's a positioning thing because Tully desires to be connected and Dennis desires to be connected. And damn it, that works. It's pretty simple, but it works.
And
well, you can't be in the same room with Tully without understanding what his mission is for sure. And he's very clear on his vision. If nobody knows what his vision is, I think you can figure it out in a couple minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Right. Hey, Brooke, thank you. You bring so much of great value. You know, you and I didn't meet and start talking, I think, till sometime in June. And here you are now on second go round on this modern retailing panel.
Yeah, man, it's been a ride for sure. And it's such an honor to be on After Dark and be on the modern retailing panel. And it's just every time I'm on this, I learn something new. And like Steve said, we were recently at Digital Dealer and he chased me down and it was just to meet these individuals and learn from them. And it's just such a blessing and to learn from them. It's such a honor. Honestly, it's such an honor. So just thank you for letting me be a part of this and to learn from everybody. It's pretty amazing, Ted. It really is.
You guys know where's Waldo? There was a where's Kara for 3 days. Everybody was trying to figure it out and map it out by posts on LinkedIn and who is she with and where's she at now. Yeah. So cool.
Russ, man.
Yes.
Going on.
Yes,
going on. And, you know, Russ, you've been on the F&I side, and I know very well you've been on the service and parts side, fixed ops as well, bringing it all together, Russ. Let's talk about that.
You know, it's actually a very exciting time because I think that the industry as a whole is ready for change, right? We went through a couple of years of just kind of grinding it through, and everybody talks and talks and talks. But I really do believe we're on the cusp of some real change, some real transparency, some real process change to ultimately have customer experience at the forefront. If franchise car dealers don't get customer experience in the first page, not only and eliminate the silos, not only in F&I, in the sales and all the variable, but the parts and service departments, if they don't start thinking about the customer first, someone else is gonna, right? Someone else is gonna make those decisions for them, and they're gonna be behind the 8 ball every time. And I think that to touch on what Steve talks about in the support vendor world, you know, we talk to dealers all the time, and they still have that's not what we do kind of mentality. That's we've never done it like that. We've always done it like this mentality, and every time I just cringe every time I hear it. That's not how we do things here. Okay, well, I get that, but you know, XYZ does it like this. Ed Roberts is a great example. He came up in a conversation just the other day. Mm-hmm. Ed Roberts does it like this. oh, Ed Roberts does, right? That's the mentality that dealerships have, is that they only think something is valuable if another prominent dealer or one of their friends does it.
Good point.
You know, one thing I wanted to add to that, Russ, and I love that, is we can still honor the past, and we can still honor all the great things that make our brick and mortar dealers great and progress forward too. You can do both. You can have great technology and great in-person engagement. It's not a conflict. One assists the other. And I think that's part of the shame of what's happened with things like digital retailing.
Yeah.
I never understood digital retailing to be lock the front doors. I never interpreted that way, yet that's the way it's felt a lot. Digital retailing to me is just casting a wider net. That's all it's doing, right? If people want to come into the dealer, go into the dealership. If you want to engage online, engage online. And the same thing about technology and its impact on the customer ownership journey. We can't have processes that just abruptly end with the sale of the vehicle. If we desire a recurring customer after the sale, then we have to earn that. And the processes have to match that. But you can do both. You don't, it's like I heard somebody recently say, I'm private. Well, you can be private and a good neighbor. Yes. Right. At the same time, it's not one or the other. And the same is true with these things that these evolutions. We can evolve and still honor the things that got us to where we're at. Both can happen.
So, Steve, you took a big, bold step with this strategic retailing. Linda, good evening. Ed, you took a big, bold step by going first, or being maybe not the first, maybe one of the first, right, with mobile service. Ed, what inspired you to take that leap before there were other Ed Roberts, before there was someone else, that you could point to that said, I'm going to do it because he or she is doing it?
We started it when we was developing our commercial service department, but ultimately it grew more than that. And we knew that it would. But look at Amazon. Let's go back to the 60s when Walmart came along. We had, maybe pick and say, depending on where you was at regionally, you had regionally retail stores. Then Walmart came along and everything it kind of shifted to Walmart, and it became the biggest retailer in the world. And then Target says, okay, we can do it better. And they built a different Target, and it's more appealing. It looks better. It feels better. You feel good about going there. So here goes Target everywhere. And Amazon comes along and says, I'm going to challenge status quo. There's no brick and mortar. We don't know about brick and mortar. Most of us on here have bought something from Amazon, but we haven't been to an Amazon location. And it's seamless. And so we find that to be the easiest. That's exactly what we've done with mobile service. Is you don't have to come to a location. You don't have to interrupt your day. I can come to you and I can make it seamless for you. And when you do that, you enhance ownership experience. When you enhance ownership experience, brand loyalty is not even a question. Brand loyalty just continues to enhance. So it started in commercial with a vision of growing it into the retail side, but ultimately COVID certainly helped us elevate that. But it wasn't what created it. It's allowed our customers to open up to it a little easier. But mobile is what we make it. And if we find ways to say that it won't work, then we're pushing ourselves backwards. But if we find ways to overcome the obstacles that get in our way, we won't have to conquest, because we'll have as much business as we want, as much business as we can handle. And then if we want more, then we can conquest and compound it. But conquest is the new retention, or the retention is the new conquest. When you retain them, you don't have to conquest.
Ted, making it seamless and easy is a huge part of it. Like Ed spoke of, there's dealers still out there not using digital MPI videos.
Yeah.
Don't have people, a BDC department answering the phone. They still expect their advisors to answer it. There's so many different levels of disconnect in the 12,000 dealerships out there in the United States. To bridge the gap, like Mr. Apicella likes to, use the platform, is a huge asset that not enough people are paying attention to.
Yeah.
And Ed, I love that you said, so the pandemic did do a lot of things, good and bad, right? But the customer didn't start changing as a result of the pandemic. You said that very accurately. I could have said that in 1985. I love that you said pick and save. We almost said five and dime, right?
Right. Depends on where he was at regionally. Yeah, it could be anything.
85, 95, 2005, customers always evolving. And, it's our job. Hopefully we're consumers too. Like, we know how we interact. We know what inspires us. We need to learn from these things and try to be in front of that. And again, I'll reiterate again that it doesn't mean digital transformation or transformation of any kind or change of any kind doesn't mean we throw away all the stuff that's working. That's ridiculous. But yet, to Russ's point earlier, that's a common resistance. Is, to look at something new doesn't mean you abandon the old. It just means you leverage it to increase the end result. And like I was saying before about you can do both things. You can treat your employees well, and you can provide a great customer experience and make money. God damn it. You can do them all, right? It's not, one isn't sacrificing the other. And that's the great moment that our industry has to transcend all this 100% online retailer environment with something that's very unique about the brick and mortar dealers, which is their unique ability to also locally service their customers however you choose to deliver that. And that's a value that we can't just dismiss. We have to leverage the hell out of it for the health and security and growth of our industry. I'm certain of that.
Steve, to add to that is that going off the Amazon, think of Apple. Apple is phenomenal. They have, their Apple experience. Same with Amazon. But Apple also understands how many billions of dollars they sink into their Apple stores, their Apple Genius bars, because why? People still want to come look and feel and touch the product. Same thing with our stores, right? Whether that's the fixed op size, and it's all one thing. I want to be very clear. It's all one thing, but we still need the physical locations because people still need that. So, but Apple also understands that it's all going back to the seamless thing. So all of these things are interconnected, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here with that. That as great as this, and I have a rough time saying digital retailing. It's just like I say that word, I literally there's like you'll watch me, I just like cringe as I say it because it's such this freaking buzzword. So this I'll say like modern retailing, connecting, whatever you want to call it, but this online stuff. And it's needed, but it's not connecting anything. So when the customer now comes in store, how is that experience? And whether it's on the sell side, whether it's on the fixed out side, if that process online sucks and you don't do anything that you say you're going to do, if you say you are the red carpet experience and there's no freaking red carpet out front, don't say you're going to do it. And if whatever the service portion is, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, then don't put it on there. But at the end of the day, the same thing Apple and Amazon do, that they have physical locations because the customer still needs to come here. And that experience is exactly the same, and they do exactly what they say they're going to do. So at the store level, are we doing and promising and doing what we say we're going to do when we do what we say? So it's just something that very, very, I want to be very, very clear what when we say what we're going to do to the consumer.
I'm going to paraphrase this and get it wrong, but one of the things about Apple, it's good to look at Apple and it's good to look at Amazon. They're $1 trillion valued plus retailers. That's a pretty good thing to look at and learn from. But, and again, I'll paraphrase this, but, Apple says an old Steve Jobism that, you got to start with the desired result and work backwards from there, right? What are you trying to accomplish? The thing that happened with digital retailing, the way it was propelled with the pandemic, it was backwards. Rather than trying to figure out the in-store process and how to cast a wider net and bring those customers in, they just figured out the remote process, and now they're trying to figure out how to connect it to the in-store process. It was backwards and maybe thrust forward because of the pandemic, but it's no different than like with our platform. It was born out of working in dealerships and asking the question, how the hell doesn't the service department know what F&I sold their customer? Like, how is that possible, right? So then it was creating technology, and I love some of the comments. Linda Hansen is one. She said, digital enhances, it doesn't replace. That's the idea, is to fix the pain points and put it in the hands of the service advisors so those in-person engagements work and they know what the customer purchased and they can process a claim digitally and not through multiple 1-800 numbers. And the same thing with extending process. Again, it just kind of blew my mind when I dug into it. If F&I is so valuable from a revenue standpoint and customer experience standpoint, why the hell do we just leave it to that micro moment? Well, that's because that's the process that exists. And that's it. Nobody's really challenged that. So there's where it begins and there's where it ends. And that's ridiculous. So that, the technology is critically important as long as you're working from the desired result backwards. And when you can fill in those gaps, then you got something that's pretty valuable.
So, Steve, you're going to bring this entire panel back in November at the Dare to Dream show. You have a big super panel on modern retailing. It's going to include Tully, Sean, Brooke, Sean Butler, Becky Chernick, Russ Mann, and Ed Roberts. And I know you're going to blow it up again because at the last event, that was one of the absolute most watched panels on the entire event. So, Steve, great job. And we are looking forward to hearing what you and the panel are going to deliver in November.
What an amazing group. I'm a lucky guy here. Just an amazing representation of our great industry.
So I think we are about, Kara, 4 weeks away from that Dare to Dream event with the masks and the whole thing. Tell us about that. When's that going to take place?
Yes, it's coming up virtually for 3 days in November. It's going to be the 15th, 16th, and 17th. So Don't miss out, guys. If you haven't got your complimentary tickets yet, grab them now at fixedopsroundtable.com so you don't miss the super panel and some of these other people that are showing on the screen right now.
Yep, we're going to have the entire super panel will be there. We got a great agenda coming as well. You see some of the people who are to be announced. Liza Borges will be there. Adam Aarons will be there. Tom Dahl, the president and CEO of Subaru of America, will be there as well. So we will have an all-out full court press, Tully, on this Dare to Dream, and we're going to raise some funds for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, November 15th, 16th, 17th. It'll be all virtual and online. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. So Earl, stick around, you as well.
This is a marquee group of A-list people right here. I love it. I agree with Sticks. But I think I saw a report today, Brian Kramer. I thought I saw that posted up. That's another great example of our industry. So really cool, Ted, what you've put together, and very happy to be a part of it. And again, with the airtime that we have, there's something to focus on here that was mentioned in the beginning where all of us can dig in and donate and spread the word to take the mask off of cancer. There it is. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and sorry, Kara, or if I took that away from you, but this is such an easy but important thing to do. And having, like all of us, having donated to this, it's so easy to do. It just takes a few minutes, and it doesn't matter the amount of money. It matters that we're helping out. And we're I think, in the spirit of the season that's coming up with Thanksgiving, one of the ways we can show thanks and gratitude for the great blessing that we have is to share that with others. And this is a great way to do it.
Great.
Absolutely.
Very well said, Steve. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Russ, Ed, Brooke, Sean Butler, Rebecca. Thank you. Always, Rebecca. Sean Kingery and Tully. And great job, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for all the comments, too. They were great.
I love the Fixed Ops magazine. Thank you, everyone.
Let's go.
Congratulations, Tully.
Congrats, Tully.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and being on the show tonight. And on behalf of myself and Ted Ings, we will see you all on Wednesday at 8 p.m.